Hello on YouTube, I'm back here with another update from Denver, Colorado. I hope everybody's enjoying their holiday today, being Christmas. I arrived in Denver yesterday afternoon. Delivery went smoothly. Appointment was for 7 p.m. I went in and I was out of there in less than an hour. I was very pleased with that. So now I am walking to the train station. I'm going to head to the airport from there and get a shuttle up to Breakenridge, Colorado. I have booked a room for tonight up there. Possibly maybe doing some skiing tomorrow. I'm not 100% sure, but thinking about it. It is a very pleasant day here. There is no snow on the ground. It must be well up into the 40s. The temperature, possibly even around 50. I can get latest reading. Feels like it's close to 50. This is my second Christmas in Denver. First one was in 1981 when I was stationed at the then Lowry Air Force Base. Flew into the old Stapleton Airport, which is only less than a mile from here where the airport used to be, in that direction. The control tower at this airport still stands. They have never torn it down. It stands in the middle of a residential area. As a reminder of what used to be there. And the control tower is just to the right of that flag sticking up. This is the old control tower at Stapleton Airport. There are lots of prairie dogs around here. There's one chirping at me from that hole. So in my latest series of videos, I talk more about my upbringing and how I sensed my parents felt about me. I have yet to load the remaining 2 videos of that set. I've kind of hesitated on it because I made some pretty dramatic assertions on it, those videos. And I'm contemplating whether I should post them or not because I don't want to make it sound like I'm dragging my family through the mud or anything, or I'm just explaining how I perceived things as unbiasedly as possible, how I perceived things looking back over time, as honest of an assessment as possible, as unbiased as possible. And sometimes the truth is not very pleasant. Sometimes people want to evade the truth because it's very, very unpleasant to face. I've always been a person who loves truth, and I don't care how unpleasant it is. I accept truth as truth. I made some assertions in the final 2 videos of that set. However, I don't want to make it sound like I am going to probably eventually put them out there, but I don't want to make it sound like I'm necessarily bashing my parents or my family or anything, that they're the most horrible people. They're not. Yet I want to share what my true feelings were as unbiasedly as possible so that others can benefit who do happen to listen to those videos. Because I know I'm not the only person. I do, as I said in the last set of videos, I did perceive that I was an unwanted child by my parents, but yet I realize there's an epidemic of unwanted children out there. And it all goes back to mentality. Attitude. What is our attitude? I know I shared that I aborted my first child in a previous set of videos. I wanted to share that experience because I realize a lot of people have made that decision that never acknowledge it openly. How can this problem be solved, though? That's even more important. It begins within. It begins with a reliance on God, having faith that things will work out for the best if a pregnancy is unwanted, instead of hastening to decide for an abortion, giving God a chance to work things out, even when it seems hopeless. So I want to come out with some positive things here today, being that it is Christmas and supposedly a celebration for Christ. I want to come out with what are some positive solutions to this problem. It begins with our own mentality, begins with bolstering up our own faith so that we're less inclined to make a decision of having an abortion. If we have faith in God and it seems hopeless, maybe we'll opt to keep the child and hope for the best. I don't want to make it sound like in my previous sets of video I was advocating abortion as the best solution in a situation like that. I was only saying from my own experience in the past with it, that at that point in my life, I really did honestly believe that that was the best solution. It was a long time ago. What are some steps we can take to avoid being in that situation? And even if we are, what can we do to reduce the chance that we'll decide on an abortion over other solutions? First of all, we have to spiritually develop ourselves, raise our vibration level. Because when we do that, then we have more faith that God is going to guide us and help us through whatever situation we come to be in. The problem, reason why there's so many unwanted children out there is because people's vibration level is not to the level where they have the love that's needed to give to a child. They don't have much love in them, and if they don't have much love in them, then they can't give it, obviously, out to a child much. The next step is we have to be careful about who we choose as a partner. And that was the biggest issue I had. I did not choose partners that were conducive to having kids. In the past 2 marriages, obviously, the quality of the partner you have could make or break a decision like that. If you know deep down having a child is going to be a disaster with that person, you're going to be much more likely to opt for an abortion than to go with it. Unfortunately, I was in that situation. I did still end up with 3 children, and that goes to what's the third step. The third step is, if a child is born, we have to be committed in our heart and soul that we're going to do our utmost to give that child all the love and care that they deserve to have from a parent. We're not going to slip into a lower vibration and scorn that child that came into our life. We're going to do everything we can under the circumstances. If we're with a horrible partner, we're going to do everything we can to mitigate the impacts of that, and or even divorce the partner if necessary. Of course, the problem in my case was, even though I chose the divorce option, because I'm a male, I know they claim the laws of custody are equal. They're not equal. From my own experience, and I remember the first divorce I had, my lawyer basically told me, if you can't prove that the mother is totally hooked on drugs or a total complete basket case, if you can't prove that in court, you're not going to get your kids. Of course, that was back 25 years ago. But the time that those children were with me under my care, I did my best to make up for the lack of my partner while I still had them. I cooked for them, I changed their diapers, I loved them, I gave them love, tenderness, lots of kisses, lots of hugs. I did whatever I could to mitigate the environment that my partner was creating. But it got to the point, unfortunately, where I had to be concerned for my own mental well-being. I had to opt for divorce. In both divorces, my former partners did everything in the world they could to keep me from my children, keep me from seeing them. And my first partner ex-wife, got away with it because she got sick, and the courts didn't do anything about it when I tried to take action against her because she was sick. So they didn't penalize her for years of depriving me of seeing my kids. They imposed no penalty on her. I am breathing a little heavy. This is a mile high here. The oxygen is lower here. But Um, there are positive steps that can be taken. But what ultimately will solve the problem? Well, mankind needs to step up the vibration level on love. The problem with my parents is, okay, say that scenario was correct, that they didn't get what they wanted. To hold contempt for a child, I don't mean to say it, but it's just wrong. You brought that child into the world. If you're on a higher spiritual level of vibration, you're going to realize you need to be committed to giving that child the best life, the best upbringing you possibly can. Even if the child wasn't fully wanted. If more parents did this from their hearts, I'm talking about, not like you can't stand your kid but you hide it, your feelings from them type thing, then there's going to be a lot less mental illness out there, a lot less disharmony, because the darker forces out there, and they're out there, want to keep mankind divided, and they use families, use people in families to create chaos, division. They use these situations. There's a nice view. Denver off in the distance. But they use these situations to bring about dysfunction in people. So what are my closing words on this topic? Let us make 2020 a year when we work on raising our vibration level individually, and collectively. We work on increasing our love that we have in our hearts and soul. We work on these things. It's a constant process. And again, I don't want to make it sound, I am probably eventually going to post the other two videos, but I don't want to make it sound like I'm bashing anybody. I'm, again, telling things as they really happened from my perspective. It's not really bashing anybody or anything like that. That is going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this Christmas message I have shared. I am heading toward the train station. We'll be there probably in about 10 or 15 minutes. Again, enjoy the rest of your holiday. I will be back soon.